glad this morning to welcome you to our show where we'll be going to the deep end of relationship clinic, relationship matters, and we shall be talking about long distance relationship, getting to know about how is it like, the challenges, you know, the lessons, and how do people cope with long distance relationship. And joining me in studio today, I have an amazing panel once again, and as always, I have two ladies who will be talking to us about long distance relationship, and I'll be welcoming Natalie to the show. Welcome. You'll be introducing yourself shortly, and Celine. So Celine, start by introducing yourself.
Good morning. My name is Celine Agira. I'm blessed with 4 children, married, and also I'm glad to be here this morning. Thank you, Sally, for hosting us this morning. We are very happy and looking forward to having a great conversation here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Natalie.
Thank you. I'm Natalie Nolang, married to one Paul Kinambuga, and a mother to 3 adorable children, an entrepreneur dealing with installation of solar, both domestic and commercial, as well as selling automated liquid vending machines.
Karibu.
I'm happy to be here.
Karibuni sana, ladies, and thank you so much for making time and the sacrifice to be here.
Thank you.
And I'll start with Celine, because you're the expert. First, let us understand what is long distance relationship. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Long distance relationship would mean as you're starting off your relationship, it can start there and then, meaning some people can meet online in social media, and then that means you just start dating online. And also it can mean you can start, well, maybe you met in a college, you met somewhere, then you start off together, and then circumstances come in that force maybe your partner to go away in pursuit of probably educational pursuit, career pursuit, and all that. So long distance relationship can start in any way.
Okay. So Natalie,
Yes.
are you in a long distance relationship?
Yes, I am.
How is it like?
I am okay. I think at the beginning, it was quite scary.
Yes.
Because I didn't know for how long. And I also didn't know if I'll really be able to make it.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm here from dating and to 10 years of marriage right now. Yes.
Okay. And so, for example, how she said about, you know, was it from the onset? Like you started the long distance relationship, or it came due to other, other dynamics of life? For
me, it was from the onset. When I met my husband, then he was in a new job and he works in an international company. So he travels frequently. Yes. So it depends with the project that is being sent to, and it's also not in one particular country. So he keeps moving. Yeah. So it was from the onset when we began dating.
Oh wow.
Yes.
We'll get back to that. Interesting. So for you, Celine, what are some of the signs of a thriving relationship, even when it is a long distance one?
One of the signs of a thriving long distance relationship is having good communication, building trust between each other, whereby you communicate well, you communicate frequently with one another, and also having less frictions, understanding one another, though you're far, but you can as well communicate and do your things together. You plan your future together, you understand one another and all that. Actually, I have one example of my friend who is in a long distance relationship, and it is a relationship that you can really admire the way they do their things. Sometimes you go to their home, they communicate well, you find them in video calls, you find them just conversing well, and they are good. They come over. You first of all also can establish a situation whereby someone can travel to the other place where one resides, and you visit. You harmonize everything. So I think that is basically how
you
well
can tell the
established.
Okay, you've talked about frequent communication.
Yes.
What does frequent mean? Because it's relative. You may have a spouse, for example, Natalie, and the husband is very busy. So when she says frequent, how often first do you talk to your spouse? Because frequent would be is it hourly? Is it?
No, for us, we've decided to have like a schedule. Because for one thing, for long distance to actually thrive, you cannot leave communication to chance and convenience. Sometimes you actually have to schedule it. What if he's in a country where your time zones are not the same? So it means you have to put in the sacrifice to actually know for this period of time that you're in this place, we have to talk around this time, because during the day he's busy, I'm busy as well, work, kids and everything else. So frequent really depends. It's circumstantial, but I feel like checking in at least in the morning, in the evening, that is quite the bare minimum. Yes.
So it's scheduled.
Yes.
Yeah. So that you don't just call someone probably the medium of a meeting, and definitely you'd feel bad, like, are they ignoring me or something like that. And also today we'll be having a question that also, Celine, you might be able to share, and I think some of them you've already said. We have the question of the day to our viewers. How do you keep the spark alive in a long distance relationship? How do you do it? So we're going to get to hear that from, of course, Natalie, who is in the long-distance relationship, and also our expert, Celine. So keep engaging me on SMS line 20316, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316, and tell me, how would you keep that spark alive in a long-distance relationship? Yeah. So Celine, back to you. So how can partners now, in such a scenario, such a case, just keep that emotional intimacy going? You know, because at the end of the day, your partners, you're a spouse. How do you keep that alive?
As Natalie says, you have to schedule time. If you agree that we'll be communicating within this time and this time, that is good enough. And also be sending some gifts to your partner, surprises here and there. Do have, I mentioned video calls, and maybe planning for parties together. Find time to visit them, and also you can you can help your partner by asking even questions like, how can I help you? How are you doing now?
How's your day?
How was your day? So you can even start your day together. In the morning, you communicate when the other one is going to work. You communicate. You end the day together.
What happens if there's a time difference?
When there is time difference, that's why we mentioned that you schedule your timing. Yeah, it helps a lot, because if you are in different time zones, somebody could be working and you're there calling, feeling lonely and wanting to engage this person while they cannot be able to pay attention to you. So that one is important, and understanding one another, the nature of their job and all that.
We've talked about communication, which is of course very important in any relationship, whether short distance, long distance, or whatever distance, isn't it? So what are some of the methods that work for you, in communication, that you communicate effectively and you feel,
Of course, WhatsApp has really helped. You're able to FaceTime. You're able to just do the calls. Sometimes Facebook as well. But for us, WhatsApp is the major. Because it's accessible. You have your hand in your phone on your hand all the time. So for us, WhatsApp really helps. And also it depends with whichever country he is. Sometimes when he's not so far, maybe Tanzania, we can even just do a phone call. That now calls for if it's an emergency, if I maybe need his input on something. Because again, you're asking about how to spice up things. Long distance makes us very independent as individuals. So now we have to force and have some interdependency of some sort. To just keep the spark, to keep the person knowing that you actually value them and you're journeying with them on a day.
Does it also make you creative in a way? Does it bring out their creativity in you?
Definitely.
Oh, really?
I think we hang out well, better than the people who see each other all the time. Because we can even have, sometimes we play games actually. We do video of charades. I have young kids, so my eldest is 8 years. So I've taught them how to do charades. So that's how we can incorporate the dad sometimes. Like act out something, then we all here are struggling to know what it is you're trying to say. Just to also create the bond. Because it just can't always be phone call, hi, how was your day? You just have to keep it fun. I feel like innovation has really been a part of it.
Fantastic. That's interesting. And I'm sure those are great tips for people who are in long distance relationship. And of course, in the meantime, as you're in this distant relationship, there's also the issue of trust, which is actually like the foundation of literally, you know, a relationship. Celine, how can one just ensure that, you know, there's trust amongst, how do you build that in a long distance relationship? Because even in a short one, it's challenging. How about a long distance one?
In fact, trust is one of the fundamental aspects in a successful long-distance relationship. Without trust, you cannot be able to communicate well. You cannot be able to trust or to know actually what the other person is doing. So you have to be very open to one another. You have to be very careful about what you're doing. If you're involved in some other relationships here and there, maybe at workplace, you have to let your husband, your partner know that, I mean, this kind of relationship, whether it is platonic relationship or any other relationship that is just a normal relationship. Probably you're living with your sister and I'm there in a long distance place, and you've not told me that you're living with your sister. Then we do a video call. I see some maybe feminine clothes somewhere, and start asking, and what am I seeing?
So something as small as that can actually mess the trust.
Can really mess the trust. So you have to be as open as possible. Probably you have kids, you have to mention when you're in. Some people meet online. And you have to be open. An open book. And you have to be consistent in what you're saying, what you're doing. You have to let your partner know where probably you are, and even do things together. Engage in activities together with your partner to bring the bond and the trust all together.
So Natalie, how do you build that trust?
For us, we've maintained transparency in our dealings and even in defining our relationships, like for work, even social. Because we're able to see this thing. And of course, because of the distance, sometimes you're able to tell that this guy is on to me or something. So having transparency and open communication and dealings, it makes it easier to build the trust. Because I'm like, hey, you know, I'm still hot. After baby number 3, people are still here, you know. So just having those open dealings, open communication, and of course having a defined boundary as well as an individual.
A defined boundary.
And I think also how you met. Because they always say whatever it is that you used to do is what will sustain your relationship. So I feel like also how you meet and also how you build the character and everything else goes so much into defining the trust levels. And as well, trust is something that you work on it as a muscle. So I have to actually give you the benefit of doubt and keep trusting, like a doing word.
Oh, fantastic. Well said. And so she has talked about how they connect with the husband. From an expert point of view, what are some of the things or ideas you may give couples out here who are, or someone who is getting into a long distance relationship?
What you can do, you can engage yourselves in, first of all, you can allow your partner know your hobbies, and therefore you can engage maybe in watching movies together, doing gamings together, anything that can really make you bond and also help you to know one another better, in a better way, so that it doesn't reach a point whereby somebody's lonely, somebody is feeling misplaced, and it can also bring about jealousy and mistrust. So you can engage in so many things while apart.
Okay, wow. So with family, we have friends, and I'm sure they play a big role in this long. Of course, the relationship is between two people,
Yeah, sure.
but the third people, if we may call them that, quote unquote, do they play a role in your kind of space and situation currently?
I feel like it depends with the power that we actually give them.
Okay.
Like for us, we have a marriage care group. Like we have this group of couples, like 7 of us.
Yes.
So they are aware of our situation, and they are always so supportive, because I will not stop living my life because my husband has traveled, and my kids also need to grow into this community as we grow the other children together, as we grow and nurture ourselves as couples. And sometimes if we have maybe just conversations, we also rope him in by me being online, or just having him on a call, especially if it's on a Sunday. Like for us, we've had to settle for Sundays, because wherever he is, that's a day that he's usually very flexible, so he can be able to chime in into the discussion. So ideally, we are growing together as well. So I believe it depends with the power that you give them. Like for them, like they're in my inner circle. Okay. So giving them that power, they are able to motivate, help me, and if I need help of any kind, I know anytime I call them, they'll surely come through. Maybe not so much for neighbors and stuff. So yeah, third parties play a role, but it depends with the power that you actually give them.
Yeah, and it could be positive or negative, just like you're saying, depending on the power you give them. We had spoken about signs that a long distance relationship is thriving, but I'm sure there are also those unhealthy signs to show. I mean, signs that show also the relationship is unhealthy. What are some of those sign that you see? And I think there's a question I saw earlier, and we'll check it out, on red flags. How can you tell that this is a red flag, things are not right?
Okay. From the onset, when starting your relationship, yes, and for this matter, it is a long distance relationship, or what happens, you set boundaries, as she said, you set boundaries, and you find sometimes somebody just decides that they are not going to follow the rules anymore, the set rules anymore. They change the communication time, they change things, you communicate, you put more effort than the other. One party puts more effort than the other. You find that that one brings about a red flag, and it shows that something could be wrong. Too much demand. You can see you're in a long distance relationship, and you're forcing one another, or you're forcing the other party to do things that are not really they cannot do, things that are not possible. You get. So it could be daunting to get into a space whereby you're not able to do what the other person requires or wants you to do. So you can automatically tell. You've mentioned family, the role of family. Also, let me go back there a little bit. You've mentioned about the role of family in a long distance relationship. Families play a vital role in a long distance relationship. That's where, if you want a transparency probably in that relationship, if the family is involved, somehow they help you, they keep in check as well. They help you to build healthy relationship. When they're around you, you feel safe. You feel
you have company. You're at home. It can get lonely, isn't it?
Yes, because it can really get lonely. They encourage you. They help you so that, you know, we are human beings. You can go astray, but when the family is around you, you're good to go. You feel comfortable.
Even the idea of keeping the spark alive. I mean, you can also get tips and ideas from them, which is our question of the day today,
even when
right?
when planning for family functions, they are there for you. They help you out. They support you, and that one can really help. So the red flags are there. There are many, but we can mention
them. Okay. Has this relationship, like the long distance one, affect your personal growth and development in any way? Have you had time now to just probably grow yourself, make yourself better?
Actually, I believe for me, it's a mindset thing. So for me, I chose to look at it positively.
Yes.
Because anything that has a beginning must have an end.
Yeah.
So before the end,
absolutely.
yeah, I feel like I've grown so much at a personal level, and that's why I said with long distance, you are able to grow so strongly independently.
Yeah.
As a person, you're able to do what you want. You may be able to have more time for your social, even for going back to school, and even just serving. Yeah, like for us women, I think we're the ones who are usually so much into ministry.
Yes.
So at a personal level for me, I've really grown.
Oh, nice. Nice. Fantastic. And so we'll be, there's also, we've talked about how we communicate, the WhatsApp and all, but Celine, as an expert, do you think technology has played a role, very briefly before we get into a break?
Yes, technology has played a big role in a long-distance relationship.
Yeah.
Without technology, it might not be possible as such. It might not work out well. Through WhatsApp, they're able to communicate. Through Facebook, you're able to get updates on what your partner is doing and all that. So I think the technology is one of the most fundamental areas which have helped in the growth of long distance relationship. Yeah.
But it also has
some negative, impact, like you might feel the pressure of communicating all the time, and also jealousy also can come in. You might see he's not answered my call, what is he doing? Maybe you've taken a photo with somebody you put there on social media. Who could this be? If you're not open enough to explain, it can also mess you up.
Or you've just talked to your spouse, Natalie, and he's telling you, I'm in the office, I'll call you back. And shortly thereafter, you're seeing posting, probably he's on his way home, and you're seeing him posting up, like a selfie. But the background is probably a restaurant, and he was just passing by. So those are some of the disadvantages of probably the social media. Have you experienced anything like that?
Not really.
Not really? Oh, okay. Yeah, because the other thing would be, now even as a parent, you have children. Does tech also play a role in just, you might not be there all the time, but the father wants to talk to his kids? Has it played a role, a positive role between the father and that's on parenting, which we'll also touch on after we get into that break. But
I feel
you
like
can
it
touch
has
on that.
played a positive role. Because they're able to also keep in touch. But then again, there's also the downside of the time.
The time.
Probably he's available when the kids are asleep or I'm not yet home. Like as much as we need to communicate through technology, I also try and limit my kids to the technology, to the
of course, and they're young. And they're young. Okay. So then, of course, this is a couple. Always, you can have a misunderstanding, conflict, and stuff like that. How do you deal with that, Natalie, when there's a conflict and you really feel you're burning up? How do you deal with that?
I feel like our situation has made us not to be avoidant. Like we solve things quickly. And then knowing each other's personality is important. With my personality being the sanguine, I want to flare up and finish now.
Exactly,
But my husband, he'll just take it in. He'll be like, I've had everything you said. Let me sleep on it. But I can say the positive is we actually solve things quite quickly. We don't labor and stay for so long on an issue. We try and find solutions around it.
Because you don't have the advantage
we don't have the advantage of time.
True that.
And even if he was around, we'd rather spend it having good time.
The Bible says don't go to bed.
When you're hungry.
Exactly. Our show today on Relationship Clinic, and we are on long distance relationships. So, and our question for today is, how do you keep that spark alive? And already I can see some serious engagement, ladies, on our socials. There's one, Donald Boyd is saying, good morning, my name is Donald Boyd. I'm 28 years old in a long-distance relationship. My question is, what are the things one can or should practice more often to strengthen the already existing trust in the relationship? So that is one. And then there's, I'll just take two for now. Then there's another one. hey, I'm enjoying long distance relationship with family matters. We aren't married. Could you talk about transparency in finances? Is it okay talking about income? My partner, he seems to be private about his income. I don't have a job yet. I'm Taji. Thank you so much, Taji, for that. And I'll throw that to the expert because Celine is also a financial expert, by the way. So I'm glad this has come. So Celine will be able to answer about the trust that is already there from Donald Boit, and it's already there. So how do you just reinforce it? And then there's also the issue of transparency with income.
Well, I'm a financial advisor in a well-doing organization, both in East and Central Africa. And also what usually happens when it comes to money matters, when it comes to financial matters, one needs to be open and discuss money issues together, because it can really bring a long negative impact if that one is not done on the onset. It is good to plan together. When you see people or a couple doing well in their life, in their financial life, it is because they have come together, they have discussed that, they're doing, they're putting in together. When you're starting a relationship, sometimes one party can be down. Like financially, can be financially down, and they're not able to contribute much into the relationship. It is good to understand the other party. It is good to understand when you're up there and you're doing well. That's where we support each other and also grow together, because at some point in time in life, or this other party will also come in and support financially. A good example is that, like, as I work in the financial institution, we do, with my husband, we do a lot of things together financially. I want to take a long-term policy. I involve him so that he knows this month, if I earn this amount, there is a certain amount that goes somewhere. So the bottom line here is transparency. Transparency it is healthy.
Natalie, do you
for
agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Is that what you're also practicing?
That's what we practice. And for us, we are open even in our passwords, actually.
Oh, wow.
Like, I can be left even with my husband's ATM card. There's a day he forgot and even went with mine. So so transparency really helps. And I believe that focus and having goals, and having goals involves our finances as well. So what will we be building towards? What projects will we be working towards if we don't know how our pool looks like? So transparency
that really answers Taji's question. But then there was also the issue of there's trust already. We're in a long distance relationship, but the trust is there. But how do we reinforce it? Because kuna temptations like we had in our first hour. So how do you reinforce that?
One thing that one can do while in places where you are at a particular point in time, just make sure, put your partner in copy. This is what I'm doing at this time, at this hour. I'm outside there and I'm hanging out with my friends. Let the partner know that these are the kind of friends that I'm hanging out with. You are at workplace. At workplace sometimes you even hug. And you never know with the social media era.
Absolutely.
Yes, anything can go viral. So just make sure that you be open and let your husband or your wife know, or rather your partner know that this is the kind of person you are. You're a charismatic person. You're jovial, you're outgoing, like she was saying. If you're a choleric, you all over. You do things, and they will be able to understand. This is how my wife is. She's a lovable person and all that. So you can be understanding one another by engaging more and being open in everything that you do.
Awesome. Okay. A very important and sensitive issue is parenting also in long distance relationship. It has its challenges, it has its rewards. How has it been like for you in the parenting journey?
I think I've experienced both. Like, I believe anytime my kids have a serious illness, I have to rush to the hospital. For some reason, their dad is always not there. So I have to stress myself. I have to probably drive them or find someone to take me. But on the flip side, he's been available. He's been there for all my birthing experiences. And I feel like the intentionality that we've created, like something that we've been discussing with my husband for a period of some weeks now. We are doing family discipleship, like even having devotions together and maybe having a book or having a topic to build each other on, as much as it doesn't matter if he's here or if he's away, because that's something that it's like having themes for ourselves now as a couple. So we've been doing family discipleship, and it really goes back to the nitty-gritty, our everyday life, how we intend to live. Like, I don't need to preach to my child for them to know that I am saved. I need them to see it from how I conduct myself on a daily, how their dad loves on me and how he does things around us, how he loves on them and brings them up. Like the intentionality. Yeah, because you can even have someone who's an 8 to 5 person, but they're still an absentee dad. So the intentionality now is what matters. Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. We have people who are watching us or even listening to us, and they're thinking, I've just met this person and I want to get into a long distance relationship. Celine, what advice would you have for them?
Okay. When you want to get into a long distance relationship, first of all, you must know that this is what you're getting into. First thing, you must foresee even the future with this person. Is it somebody that you, after the long distance relationship is over and you now want to come together and start building your life together when you're close in one place? Is it the same? Is it the person that I would want to spend the rest of my life with? You must put your facts right. You must know what you want, and also knowing what you want matters in a relationship. It doesn't matter which relationship, whether long distance or the normal other relationship. It doesn't matter. So you have to put your facts right. You have to have your expectations out as well. You have to let your partner know that this is what we are getting into. How are we going to handle issues that would come along the way as we are in distant relationship? You get? So if somebody wants to get into a long distance relationship, they have to prepare and be intentional.
Mentally.
Yes, mentally, emotionally, because it's quite involving. So they have to know what they want in their life.
Can I add on to that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, like for someone to prepare as well, I believe that it's important to know your love languages. I feel like there are some love languages that don't allow you to be in a long distance relationship, especially if it's for personal touch. You will struggle, you will sit, you will keep on backsliding. So I feel like it's important to have an awakening that this is the type of person that I am.
Also service, isn't it?
This is my personality, and if it's something that you're not able to maybe give the sacrifice for a duration of time, then of course don't go into it. Don't go into it. Absolutely.
You need to learn your love language. And I think we'll go back to, because I've seen we have a lot of questions today, and you know, a lot of interactions right here. There's one who is saying, good morning family, long distance relationship is only work when there's trust. Can only work when there's trust, honest communication, and thank you so much, panelists, for the tips and encouragement. I think that's just a compliment. Thank you so much, Bernard. Then there's also this comment here. Relationship is very complex. Whether close, short, long distance, trust, loyalty, and commitment is key. For the Bible says in Proverbs 17:17, no matter what love others, that's the core of any solid relationship. Simply focus on love and let God take care of the rest. Edwin, thank you so much, guys. So I think those are just compliments, and you know, people just encouraging others, like it can actually work when it comes to, you know, the long distance relationship. And somebody had asked if, for example, you know, does culture affect really a long distance relationship? Culture, different cultures probably you're from this culture, your spouse is from the other. Does it come into play for in your case, for example?
Of course, for us, we are from different cultures as well, but I don't believe that it plays a big role. simply because a relationship is between the two of us.
The two of you.
We define it the way we want. After all, I'm the one who will be living and experiencing
this relationship.
Yes. So I really don't think that culture should play a role, not unless it's someone whose mindset probably is not liberated from culture. And if we are for Christ, we are saved.
That makes a difference.
That makes a difference. And I feel like if your spouse or the person you're dating is actually born again, I feel like it's already an advantage.
It is a plus.
Because there's something else that they revere God first before you. So even if it's the faithfulness, even if it's the commitment, it comes from a higher calling.
Okay, lovely. Celine, when you're now, this is a couple and they're coming back, maybe, you know, adjusting back into living together or reuniting. Celine probably is now used to her space. How does this go, and what are some of the strategies someone can use just to like reaccommodate this person back to, you know, how does it work?
Okay, I'll bring the aspect of God in this one, just like as she says. God is a God of order, and whatever you do, put God in the center of everything. Put God at the center of everything. When you build your relationship in the Word of God, the probability of sustaining this marriage is 99.9%. Because however much we can try to make things work, without God in it, things can really scramble. It can become difficult. Therefore, what I would say, when you now want to bring this person closer and accommodate this person, I believe it's something that you've worked on over time for you to now reach to that point whereby now you decide to come together and also accommodate one another, because it's something that you decided. You can't be in a long distance relationship for 5-10 years, then all of a sudden now when you want to start living together, you're not compatible. You feel that you're not compatible. Things must work. You just it's a decision that you make.
And this is where the communication comes in. We've gotten to know each other.
Yes. The communication, and once you come together, you have to make sure that you get a lot of time together. You spend a lot. You get involved into so many activities together that will gel, that will bring that bond, strong bond that we now want to start building. Yes.
Okay. And do you ditto that? do you relate with that?
Yes, I do, and I feel like just accommodating the other person back always gives that spark, because it's different every other time. But I think what distinguishes is probably your seasons of life. Because I believe even as a couple, whether it's long distance or not, you have to be involved to know your partner's season of life. And others say, we are married, you might even be living there every single day together, but the probability of the both of you always being in the same season is not always 100. So just it always brings us back, because you know, if probably he was somewhere and he's had a hard time, he'll be here waiting with all the excitement and just beating them out of that bad vibes and everything else, and just encouraging. So even just maintaining that thought of this person is coming back, it also gives that spark.
Talking about the spark, we have special occasions. You have your anniversary to celebrate, birthdays and all. How do you do that in such a relationship?
Wow. I think that one can be painful. Like for me, I'm a January baby. January people are working. It's
so busy.
So we always have to like schedule for it. Probably we do it December, or we schedule when he comes back. Like, let's have time to celebrate me. Let's have time. I think we've been lucky to have to celebrate most of our anniversaries together.
Oh wow.
Yes, but it's not always like that. I feel like some things we have to be open-minded because it's the situation, and it's not as if this person is gone forever. So what happens? I cannot be angry because he was not available on this date, on this month, but you can always do something together just to celebrate, just to culminate. And plus we're building a culture. As I said, our kids are there seeing, let's learn to celebrate each other. Despite the circumstances. So they know celebrations happen. My birthday might have passed, but it still go down.
And again, just to add on what she's saying, that's where also family
and friends
comes in. They support you in that, even for organizing for your children's birthday while your partner is away, and life continues well.
But does a long distance relationship require more work compared to this, you know, do you call it short distance? Yeah. Does it require more work? Of you?
We must acknowledge that long distance relationship has its own fair share of challenges. Quite many challenges as opposed to the short distance relationship, and we must learn to live with that, because there is a lot of work to be put in a long distance relationship. You see people, some relationships work, some don't work, depending on how solid you are in building that relationship. Therefore, I think long distance relationship has many challenges. Yeah, that's what I can say.
Natalie, some of the challenges.
Maybe
which one?
From my experience.
Is it hard? Is it harder than the short distance?
I feel like
you need more effort.
I feel like yes, it needs more effort. Because you have to be intentional practically with everything that you do. Yes. So it requires more effort. But then again, I feel like it creates some spontaneity, which having someone there every day. I think that's an advantage for us. Yes, because it breeds some contempt. So there's those challenges. Yes, we must work harder, but I feel like the innovation around it. But then again, I know it doesn't work like that for everyone. Like, what are your mindsets? What are your conversations? And I believe, like, for long distance, you must be a conversationalist. It doesn't matter that I'm maybe introverted. There's no room for being introverted in such a situation. So that requires for really hard work, because you have to keep at it, and you have to build on to something else. So I believe it's hard work, but it's also doable and very positive as well.
And also with some of the questions that we've seen here, someone was asking about future planning. The other one was about income. But how is it like to plan with someone who is not near you? I know you have a real life experience. So probably you can touch on that, but also Celine, you can just tell us what how would you guide someone who comes to you and they tell you, I'm stranded here in terms of future planning with my spouse.
Well, by the time you're having a long distance relationship, you already know what the other person is going through on the other side. You already know the season that they are in on the other side. That one will guide you on what to do or what to plan for your future. Is this partner financially stable? Are they distant because of maybe they're pursuing their career, they're pursuing their educational matters or what. So it depends on what, or rather the situation that is there in between them for able to plan, and what are they planning for. Is it a long-term plan? Is it a short-term plan? Is it a middle-term plan? Is it something that they're able to handle at that particular moment in time? This one now calls for deep understanding of one another. We have to be careful about how we handle our issues at any given point in time. Okay.
And I can see Natalie's 100% in. She concurs with you fully. Is that what you do?
Yes, that's what we do. And I believe for long distance to work, you have to be focused. Because if there's no goals, who am I committing to? What am I committing to? Because I believe for it to work, I must value you so much to the point that I'm willing to put in the work and walk through all those sacrifices. So having goals on the onset, I think that is what will push me to buy into it. Because honestly, even in marriage, love is never enough. So what is the extra thing? Are you committing yourself to a visionary person? Are you committing yourself to a shifting shadow, someone who shifts goalposts? Because that is a red flag right there. Because you cannot plan for this in a matter of 2 years and you've not achieved it. You might be far, but we decided we'll buy that land, we'll start building. So if we are not working towards the goals, then what is happening? Yeah, you cannot afford to have shifting goalposts all the time. I believe setting the goals really goes a long way. Focus. I believe, honestly, for a long distance to work, focus is really key. Being grounded, being grounded. And something has to ground you. Yeah, and love is never enough.
Oh, wow. Love beyond boundaries, love beyond boundaries. And you know, when people hear, or someone hears that you've just met someone, and so what do you do? The usual introduction, and they're like, yeah, I work in Beirut, whatever. And they're like, but there are positives in long-distance relationships. What are some of those positives, at least to just encourage someone who is thinking like, I know. What are some of the positives?
You have to think positively about the relationship, because there are those that perfectly work and they're very good, like hers. She's testifying here. It's thriving. It's a thriving relationship. Absolutely. And you must embrace such aspects. You know, when somebody is far away, you miss them all the time. Not like when they are all together, you take somebody for granted. After all, she will go to work and come back here. You get into a little disagreement, then you like, she will just come back, he will just come back. Now when you're in long distance relationship, you hardly find time also to get into such frequent frictions here and there. So you can really be on the positive side and just decide, we want this thing to work for us, and how do we make it flourish all the time. You get involved into such engagement activities, like reading a book together. You pick a book, you just read together, you just watch movies together, you do your hobbies together, games and all that, so that your relationship is able to grow stronger.
There's something I would want us to touch on before the end of the show, because we are just about to get to the end of it, and it is about intimacy, sex. This is very important in any relationship, isn't it? So, Natalie, because you're the one in it, how do you manage, you know, self-control and all those things? How do you manage this aspect of, because it's a reality?
I feel like, just the way I said, transparency. There are those days you'll be like, where these are my moments. You'll console yourself over the phone and just long talks and imagine that they're just there hugging you. But ideally, for us ladies, I feel like the way we are not so visual, we can be so taken in with so many things that we do. Personally, I feel like I do so many things. Like I'm an octopus, I have my hands everywhere. I keep my mind busy, honestly, and I think it helps. But always not 100%. But I also feel in our situation, it's not, I'm not starving, I'm not dying. Like it comes back after a week, sometimes after a month, sometimes after 2 weeks. Like it's never, like the duration is not fixed. Like I see him maybe just twice in a year. So honestly, for us, that helps, because the duration varies. Can be shorter, can be longer. And just being busy, children, work, and everything, you're just exhausted. It's evening, you pass out, you're like, you just come back.
I love that. And from the expert point of view, very briefly, probably in 30 seconds, what is your take on that?
It could be lonely at times when you feel that you're in that point whereby you need your partner to be around. It calls for a lot of discipline and transparency to be able to handle that situation. That's where I said, if you have even families around you, your mind will so engaged. Even the nature of your work can really also help you to engage your mind. Make sure you engage your mind so that you don't stray away.
Fantastic. Thank you. I love that. So engage your mind and always get busy. I mean, this is a very interesting conversation, which I believe for anyone who's getting into or planning to get into a long distance relationship or is in one, has really been encouraged by Natalie and Celine, who've done an amazing job just to put us through, you know, this navigate the journey of long-distance relationship. And so just before we leave, we'd like to encourage anyone who is out there and they'd love to partner with us to ensure that we keep these programs on air and to keep Jesus on the airwaves, to talk to us through our SMS lines 20316 and WhatsApp line 0786316316, and write the word partner if you may want to join us. And for those who are already holding our hands and ensuring that we are on the airwaves and bring you clean content every single day, we want to say thank you and God bless you, and keep talking to us. And if you want to be part of this community, please send to our, whatever you have, you're prompted by God to give, send it to our pay bill number 316 and the account number would be your phone number. May God bless you, and see you next week on Parenting Tuesday, when I'll be talking about culture and parenting. Have an amazing Thursday. God bless you.